Here's a stat for you. It's 4 overtime games. Russell Westbrook, 1 point in those 4 overtime sessions, 0 for 14 from the floor. Kenny, your thoughts?
Well, as bad as Russell Westbrook was, in terms of, like I said, I think he's a guy who doesn't need the volume of shots that he has to take to get to that numbers.
30 points on 31 shots.
He's much better than that. He's much more explosive. The same thing and Kevin Durant needs to take a page out of LeBron James' book, because I think it was 4 years ago, and I was like, in 3 years, Kevin Durant's going to be the best player in the world, and everyone's laughing. Because at that time, it was so many guys ahead of him. But he is the MVP of the year. However, he's not the best player in the world. He is second. But his inability to create shots and double teams, he doesn't, for a guy who scores 30 points, he doesn't really get double teamed because he stays perimeter so much. So his inability to get double teamed doesn't allow other guys to get shots. So he has to either create that by what Charles says, go on the block, what LeBron has learned probably in the last 3 or 4 years, or he has to create it off of dribble penetration, one or the other, like Tony Parker does. But he does not create enough double teams to average 30 points a game to help his team be successful.
And I've said it, and he gets mad when I said it. He only has one hole in his game. He doesn't post up. They play little guys on him. They try to dribble out on the perimeter and have Tony Allen hanging all over you. Tony Allen's a terrific defender, and you taking tough jump shots, and they're not going in. If he would post up, that would force them to double him, and that would make him get open shots for other players. That's the only hole in his game. He's a great player. He's the second best basketball player in the world. But I hate to be redundant. I said the same thing every year. They're never going to win shooting all those jumpers. And they don't have a big guy who can score. But Kevin Durant's the only guy who's really capable of doing that, because Tony Allen should not be able to guard him on the box. Kenny talked about it. LeBron James, to me, has been the best player for the last X amount of years. The only thing he does different in his game is post up. Because you go back when they played Dallas for the championship, he wasn't post. Jason Kidd guarded him a couple times. He shot fadeaway jumpers. Now he goes on the block and he gets to the basket. And on a great player, that's going to open up. That's going to make your teammates better. Because you have to double LeBron, and you would have to double KD because Tony Allen is too small.
Let's talk. Can we talk about Memphis, Shaq?
Yes.
I mean, they lead the series 3 games to 2 in what has been a wild series, but Zebo gets it back on track. He had been struggling from the floor. Mike Conley doing the job at the point, and Mike Miller raining threes when they needed him most tonight.
What they've been doing very well is dictating the pace. The big guys, Gasol and Zebo, they've dominated. Numbers are not that well, but, they've been beating them up inside, getting a lot of fast break points. And Mike Miller, Miami Heat's good luck piece for the last 2 years. He shot the lights out of the ball. And, it's good when you have an asset like that. But they have been dictating the pace from day one, and that's why they're up 3-2.
All those guys, and Gasol goes for a double-double, 11 and 15. Grizzlies a win away from advancing to the Western Conference semifinals.